Grown Black Folks Talk, Black Historymaker series. If you're going to make history, you probably need to know how to negotiate, how to do basic negotiation. Okay, this is very basic. I'm going to share with you what I do in order. Now, there are classes you can take on this from a heavy business perspective. There's rules to the game. There's all sorts of things you can learn about this. I would just give it to you in basic form because almost everything is a form of negotiation. But proper negotiation is something done between equals. If someone has a vast power differential compared to you, there's very little negotiating room that you have. If you perceive a vast power difference between them and you're not going to be able to negotiate effectively. The reverse is also true. Very often when people feel like they have the upper hand, they don't give people a lot of room to negotiate. If they perceive that they have the upper hand, they don't give a lot of room, but then sometimes they can be outwitted because true negotiation is a practice of equals or near equals. It's not a process of big power imbalance because there's big power imbalance. There's no possible negotiation, true negotiation possible. The person with more power in the situation is going to get their way. The person with less power can use craft to try to manipulate, but that's not the kind of thing we're talking about. Now, a couple other things need to be noted. We live in a society that is run by a culture of people who basically practice I win, you lose, zero-sum game. There's only so much resources on the table, and the idea is winter is always coming. It's about the culture of the people that we work with originally. And so the more I have, the better chance I have of making it. If you starve, oh well. We're in a zero-sum game culture in general. But there is another way to approach getting what you need in the world from different people. And it is the I win, you win also. This is also an idea about the abundance mindset versus the scarcity mindset. If resources are scarce, we tend to go to zero-sum game because if I try to leave you some, there may not be enough for me. If the reality of life is actually abundance, then there's a way that we look at the resources that are available and we can get them in a way that benefits both of us and perhaps even allows us to do more than we would do separately. Win-win and abundance. It's a very different mindset than what most of us know because we live in a culture that, again, scarcity mindset, zero-sum game. There are enough resources in the world for everyone to have enough and to live decently. However, this would require the people who have made a conquering of a world of the zero-sum game to have to accept much less. And it is not in them to do that in general. There are individual exceptions, but I'm talking about culturally, not so much. And so when we think about how we interact with one another, it is deeply influenced by that reality. So how do you go in and get the things that you need without turning into a scarcity-minded, zero-sum game type of person in a world that actually has plenty of abundance? How do you do a win-win? Okay, know who it is you're about to talk to. Who are they and what do they value? Remember, we did a video about vet. Ladies and gentlemen, vet the people that you're working with. Well, this is another form of that. The person that you need to work with, what do they value? Look through their social media, look through their business record, look through what they do and find out what they value. And then I've said to you already, actually, that's step 2. Step 1, please heal and know the value of what you bring to the table. Know its limitations, know your strengths, no limitation, no strength, and know that for what you are offering. And also understand that what you're offering is not for everybody, and that's okay. This is why it's another reason it's important to do research. Who are you talking to and are they a fit? Save yourself some time because my market is probably not the kind of people that are still throwing Robert E. Lee birthday parties into the 21st century. Yes, that's a thing. I was so shocked when I found it online. My book, this book here, hold on, y'all. Click the wrong button. The market for this book is probably not that market. It's just not. Shameless plug. A good mystery for those who are interested in racial issues from the side of actually fixing the problems in a just and humane way that acknowledges the humanity of all people involved and also sees Black people as the first movers in their own affairs and free. This is probably not the book for the kind of people that are still having birthday parties for a man who's been dead 100, almost 152 years. Everything's not for everybody. Some negotiations you don't even need to bother with because they're not going to come out. It's not the right market. Please do your research. All right. And we're back. Please do your research, whatever it is you have to offer. So once you've done your research and you find somebody who's the right fit, I just did a brief interview with Daring Dialogue. Some of you may be watching this who've come from Daring Dialogues. Thank you again to Shantae Charles of Daring Dialogues. This is a good audience because we talk about a lot of the same things. We talk about how Black people live their freedom in a current age in which there is a resurgence of the kind of people that have birthday parties for Robert E. Lee, and why this is a bad thing that must be resisted. Not that we need to go shut down anybody's party. COVID did that. But in the meantime, this resurgence of the idea that Black people are less than and that it was better when they were slaves, and it's better that we reverse the civil rights of Black people, that has to be resisted. So that's more of my market. My market is also white people who want to move on from that legacy. That's a good market for me. Black people who are interested in learning some skills. The book includes skills. So that's my market. So knowing what it is, knowing who's interested, helps you when you negotiate because everything's not for everybody. So first, know the value, know what it is you offer, know the value. Second off, do your research to make you're not sure you're not trying to negotiate with somebody who doesn't want to see you in the first place. Once you find something that is a fit, are you going in the same direction at the same time? We're still vetting. We haven't talked to anybody yet. What are they doing right now? Dr. Claude Addison, Black labor, white wealth, was in a phase in his life where he was running a business. It was a fish farm, as a matter of fact. So if you were a fish farmer who's interested in working with Black people, that would have been a good match for him several years ago. He is not in that business anymore. Right now, he is moving more books and having more conversations about Black labor, white wealth. So he'd be more interested in coming onto your show and speaking if you have the right profile, more so than actually working in fish farm. It's not that he wasn't in that. It wasn't that that wasn't a match, but that's just not what he's doing right now. It wasn't Women's History Month in February. So Shantae Charles of Daring Dialogues was not doing a series of readings with Black female authors last month. Timing is everything. Now, of course, some people run over the lines. I'm still doing Black History Makers because we're not done and we're still making history, men and women. Sometimes you can run over the line in your own shop. But when you go into other people's shop to negotiate, you need to know that not only are you fellow travelers, but that you're going in the same direction at the same time. Now that you have, one, identify the value that you bring to the table, know what you are, what you have to bring to the table. Two, make sure you're not offering to people that don't want it. It's like, you might have the greatest prime rib in the world. Please do not go to a vegan conference and try to sell that. Don't do that. Vet, vet, vet. Three, you've done your research to make sure they're going in the same direction as you are. Then you find out what are they doing that you can come to them with the attitude of, and this is why I can make what you are doing more effective for the people you want to meet. Wait a minute, you mean I did all that vetting and I don't get to tell them about how wonderful my thing is and how they need to bring their support? No, because you need them. If you approach them, you're approaching them from wanting to do something with them. They didn't come find you. Now, it's a whole different thing if they come to find you. But generally speaking, you're going to be the first mover and start your own process, right? If you're new, you definitely are not out here being approached. I'm not quite new anymore. So sometimes people come looking for me, but they come looking for me because they know I'm going to enhance what they're doing, in addition to how they're going to enhance what I'm doing. So they know this already. If you're starting out, you have to establish that history because remember, it's a win-win. They may have a larger audience than you have. But if you go in there talking about how you need that audience and what this is going to mean for you, me, blocked and bounced. That's what happens to you. So you need to know how to approach this by saying, and these are the benefits that what I do are going to bring to you in return for me doing, in return for you doing this for me, this is also what I bring to you. And this is how you work on win-wins of basic negotiation. You have to know what value you have so that you can sell the value you have for the other person. Even when you do a job interview, the person that you interview, whether they tell you or not, wants to know that you research the company and that you have answers that show that you know what you offer to the company. In addition to you getting a package that you want, they want to know that they're going to get their full value. So when you go to negotiate, understand it is about you knowing who you are, what you bring, but it's also about, have you done the work to know what benefit it has to them, and can you sell them on the benefit that you have to them? I say sell. That's a term we've learned how to use. Doesn't necessarily have to be money. But can you come to the door bearing a benefit for those through the door you want to get through? The Bible has an interesting passage about diligence, has several interesting passages in Proverbs about being diligent, about being skillful, because what happens is, as you continue to do that, more and more people see it, more and more doors open to you. This is the general rule of basic negotiation. First, it goes all the way back to the beginning. You have to be very clear on what you have to have a good offering. You have to be confident in it. And then when you get to where you're going and you've done your research, then you need to be able to make a case. I should be in here with you because I will enhance what you are doing right now. Right now. And then we work on the details. What time? What place? How long? And if it's a money question, how much? How much? But we've already established that we're going to be of mutual benefit to each other. The rest is just details. That's basic negotiation. That's not what you're going to learn in business school. That's not most of what you're going to learn online. They're going to give you very specific techniques. A lot of negotiation is taught about how you psychologically move the other person to get them to see things your way. There are plenty of techniques to go with that. And all that is well and good. If you're seriously going to be in business and you're seriously going to have to be negotiating big time deals, it would behoove you to do that. I have those things saved to my playlist too. But from day to day, working with different people, I've given you the basic breakdown of what I do. If there are only two things you remember from this, know your value. Because, point five, if someone, you get in there and you get disrespected, you just walk. Because again, you know your value. So you don't stay in with anybody who disrespects you. You walk straight up. Just go. Thank you for the time. Ease on down the road. That's what you do. Because you know your value, right? You know your value. You know the value of what you bring. You don't put up with disrespect. You leave. You'll find another way. Find someone else. Start your researching and vetting all over again and start again. Two things I want you to take from this. First, if you got trauma, you got insecurity, heal. Because the first thing you're going to have to know is know your value, know the value of what you bring. And the second thing is you have to look at a win-win perspective for the people you're negotiating with. Make sure that a win for you can actually be a win for them because what they're doing and what you're doing matches up at the right time and place. But what I want you to take from this is get out of zero-sum game mindset. How many, if you can convince people that what you're doing and helping you is a win for them, how many times can you be successful? Versus you coming to the table where a win for you is a loss for them. How many times can you be successful? Think about it. Think about it. If you get really good in convincing people and showing them that a win for you is a win for them, how many times do you think you're going to be successful compared to getting the habit that a win for you is not a win for them and it's a loss for them? How many more times you're going to be successful over the course of a lifetime? I'll leave you with that thought. Thank you for watching. And to my subscribers, new and old, I appreciate you. You have a good day now. Goodbye.